Located underneath the vehicle just ahead of the right rear tire, and it's mounted in a plastic housing that's attached to the chassis. You're going to need a 17mm socket and extension and ratchet to remove it. If it's still the original filter, it'll have one-time use clamps, which are basically, in order to get them off, you need to use vice grips to physically break them. Obviously somebody's been in here before and replaced this one because it's got adjustable clamps. So you just loosen the clamps and then remove the securing nuts for the assembly. I'm going to speed this up with video editing in a minute. Once the nuts are off, this can be pulled down. It is quite stiff to pull down. Sometimes a little screwdriver or a pry bar in behind will help. You notice a bit of fuel leaking. It's not a big deal. You can also obviously leave the hose clamps tight until it's hanging like this. Depending on when the vehicle was last run, there may or may not be fuel under pressure, so obviously be careful with fuel that may or may not come out. Volkswagen says that these filters are good for the life of the vehicle. I like to replace mine every 5 years, 100,000 kilometers. Flow of fuel is in that direction. What I like to do is shake up the filter and then get a good sample. By blowing through it, you can tell how restricted the filter may or may not be. Fuel, when new, is see-through. As you can see in this case, the fuel is quite dirty. So obviously the filter is doing its job. It's capturing the dirt, and by shaking it, you're just loosening the sediment and allowing it to come free again and come out. So in this case, I'm replacing the filter. Installation is in reverse. As I'll show the installation. Here's a new filter, Bosch. Really easy to blow through. Somebody put a zip strap here. I'm not sure why. Not really need it. The fuel filter just comes out of the housing like this. Put it over here. You can see there's a channel here, so it should only install one way, although you can force it the other, obviously. So just keep in mind. Actually, here's even an arrow, and there's an arrow on the filter to help installation. It just pops into place. As always, I like to mark my filters. Of course, I don't have the marker handy right now. This is just a locking tab, and the other one is probably still on the vehicle. So that's it. New fuel filter is in place. There's that locking tab. Again, make sure that it's pointing towards the front of the vehicle. Push it into place. Push the clip over. On this side, since the clip is already in place, just push it up and you hear it ratchet into place. Attach the hose clamps with the hose. And then the nuts. on my little marker. And this just helps you remember when it was done last. October already. That's it. Good for another 100,000.